You're tuned in to the Restaurant Rockstars podcast. Powerful ideas to rock your restaurant. Here's your host, Roger Bodwin.
Hey, it's Roger. You know, I've been thinking about the power of collaboration. That is, working with other professionals you like and trust that have complementary strengths and expertise. I highly recommend it. If you're a regular listener to this podcast, and I'm really thankful for that, you know that every now and again I collaborate with my good friend and fellow industry pro, Jaime Oikel. Jaime runs a site called runningrestaurants.com, and if you haven't checked it out, you should. It's chock full of everything restaurant that you can think of. Jaime and I frequently get together to riff on a variety of topics to help you run a better, more profitable restaurant operation. For a fresh perspective on your business, why not find a co-collaborator yourself to learn and share best practices? It could be a fellow restaurateur or manager, a great marketer, service guru, or other professional. Listen to today's podcast where we discuss words to live by and 8 great things to say to your staff today. I'm certain there'll be plenty of takeaway and ideas to share with your team. Listen on.
Well, hello everyone. This is Jaime Oikel from runningrestaurants.com, and here I am with Roger Bodwin from restaurantrockstars.com. What's going on, Roger?
Hey, James, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Roger. Listen, I love this call we're going to do. If people are dialing in, stay for this call because I've taken a sneak peek of what we're going to talk about today, and this is 8 things to say to your staff today. So this is going to be great, and Roger's great when he talks about the people equation of the business, and they are so important to the success of your business, your people and how they interact and what they believe in their culture and their philosophy. And we're going to give you 8 tips today that you can use for meetings and staff conversations. So you're absolutely going to love this. So Roger, I want to get right into it, and I hope you don't mind cutting through any fluff. I want to get right to this.
Yeah, go for it.
The first thing that you mentality-wise want to have for your staff, you say educate, inform, and entertain. Explain.
Okay, so that was sort of a philosophy that I had right from the get-go when I ran restaurants because I believed service was the cornerstone of my business. It was going to be a competitive advantage. And I believe then, as I believe now, that the restaurant business is show business. It's all about entertainment. So it starts by educating, and that means that every front of house person knows your menu, knows your concept, knows all your hooks, and is open with chit-chat with your customer to tell them everything that's special about your restaurant, whether it's a menu item, whether it's a process, a way of doing business, something that sets you apart from the competition. So that's the educating and the informing part. And then the entertainment was all about training your staff. Every staff person that you have, if you train and develop what I call the A team, you then develop their skills in presenting. You encourage them to use their unique personalities to bring the experience to life. So it's all about educating, informing, and entertaining each and every customer with their unique personalities and giving them personal service. And, that Cheers formula just comes to mind. I mean, Cheers is a classic television show, but it's all about, people want to go where everybody knows their name. And, giving them that personal level of service is the most powerful thing you can do in a business to bring customers back again.
Yeah, Norman.
Right? Norm. Exactly.
Yeah, Cheers is great.
Yeah,
and absolutely, I will echo those comments of having the 18 players, right? And when you have those 18 players, this equation gets a lot easier because those people are engaged and they want to give good service. So, number 2, you say notice and see what the guest sees. I like this one. What do you think?
Well, every restaurant has a staff. And everyone's got a set of eyes, right? And there are so many details in this business. There's so many moving parts. And I always train my staff to think like an owner, to notice and see what the guest sees. So I had every single person that came to work in a given day walk through the front door and notice what the guest is going to see before they see it, and either fix things that are broken at that moment or tell a manager or myself as an owner if they couldn't handle it themselves. So when you park your car in a parking lot, it's everything from, maybe there's a pothole that someone's going to trip and break their ankle. Maybe there's trash outside the entranceway. There's a butt can spilling over with cigarettes. Maybe the windows are dirty. Maybe there's a poster that was from last week's live entertainment show that's no longer up to date. Maybe there's burned out light bulbs. Who knows? Maybe the floor is dirty. So as you walk from the parking lot through the restaurant to get to your job, look and notice and see everything that the guest can possibly see and take care of it. I'm famous for saying that I believe the restaurant business is one of 1,000 details. There really are 1,000 details to running your business. And even if you get 990 of those details right, it's the 10 you miss that the guest always sees. And it's all about the guest experience. So it certainly helps to have however many staff, 10, 20, 30 people noticing on their way into the job to see what is out of, a miss that can be fixed before the guest sees it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I'll just talk from the customer side for a second. We absolutely do. We see those 10 other things. It's the bathroom that's out of toilet paper. It's little things like the light bulb and the sign and things in the parking lot. And you go, oh man, if they're not paying attention to that, what else are they not paying attention to? And you catch them doing those things. So I like that philosophy. Think like an owner. Have 30 sets of eyeballs, acting with an ownership mentality, and I promise you, your restaurant will be better for it. So number 3, and this is a good one and important, and your team should have this philosophy. You say our mantra is teamwork and respect. What do you think?
Well, I've always been a huge proponent in creating what I call a culture of hospitality, family, and fun. Okay, so as you're developing your A team, your dream team, pretty soon it becomes not just a management team and employees, it becomes a family. It becomes a chemistry between the staff where everyone just sort of, just fits well together. Everyone's there for the same common person of pleasing the guest, and that elevates the guest service experience. But it really starts with teamwork and respect. So teamwork is, it's easily explainable. You're going to back each other up. You're going to help each other out. You're going to recognize when someone else on the team needs something, or even if they ask, you're just ready to jump in and help. And then the respect part, it's like we treat each other as a staff and we treat the customers with respect as if we appreciate one another, and it just becomes more of a culture of hospitality, family, and fun, okay? And going out of their way to please the guest. I mean, we all exist to please the guest because this isn't a one-off, You don't want that customer just to come in once. You want them to become regulars. You want them to tell everybody they know what a great experience they had in your restaurant. And that comes through teamwork and respect.
Yeah, the thing that I really like the most there is the jumping in to help, even if it's not what you're thinking about doing or your mind is somewhere else, but being ready to do that and help your teammates. Because I see heads down in a restaurant, I see, oh, not my problem, not my thing, I got my own stuff to worry about, and that kind of mentality frustrates me. And so I really do like the idea of a management team having the conversation with their staff of really believing in all the stuff you just talked about, and absolutely they're going to do greater. So number 4, this is absolutely every single restaurant in the planet can relate to this one. And number 4 being leave your issues and problems at the door. I'm sure you got some stories on this one.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, not everybody is having a great day all the time. We all have personal problems and issues that crop up from time to time, some more serious than others that can affect our job performance. But not only does it affect that individual person's job performance, but it also impacts the morale of the team and the guest's overall experience. And I don't care if we're talking back of house, front of house. If you work as a line cook, it could affect the quality of the food and the presentation and the plate and the portions and the wow factor and all that kind of stuff as it goes to the customer. Or if you're a front of house person, just, maybe you don't really feel like interacting with customers that day and putting on your happy face and just, having a great time with the customer. So we definitely made that a point right from day one. And we reinforce that constantly. Leave your problems at the door. Put on your happy face. If it's not fun, why do it? You're here for that reason. And that served us really, really well because people knew that that's what we expected. So if you don't mention it, if it goes unsaid, think about how that can impact your customer's experience if someone is having an off day.
Well, it absolutely does, and I'll tell you why. And I'm sure whether it's you or people listening can echo this thing. I've been sitting at a restaurant, and you can absolutely tell that the server has brought something into work. You can see it on their face. Sometimes they'll even say something, and you're there as a customer. You don't want anything to do with this situation, and you can tell. Well, they're not happy with this or that, and you're like, come on, I'm here to have a meal. So absolutely have that conversation with your team that they got to leave that stuff at the door. It cannot be brought into the business. And as far as number 5, you actually just mentioned that phrase. You say, if it's not fun, why do it? That is absolutely true. Like if you do not want to be in this kind of fun business, why are you doing it? So what more do you share when you talk about that with your clients or the team or your teams in the past?
Yeah, that is such a common phrase that we use so often. If it's not fun, why do it? And that really just sort of speaks to whether or not that person belongs as a member of your team. Is it a good fit or not? Whether that person belongs working in the hospitality restaurant industry or not, it really comes down to it. And we used to talk about that a lot in job interviews. And I know I'm famous for trying to get to the heart of a person's soul in a job interview and not just asking those questions that the person knows what answer you expect and then just sort of throws it at you. It's really about the person's character, their approach to the job, and whether or not they really have a true desire to serve the public. And that certainly plays into it, the fun part. Everybody needs to earn money. Everyone's in it for the paycheck, but hopefully you're really in it because you enjoy the team. You enjoy meeting new people every night and making friends for that restaurant. And that's really what it's all about. And if the fit isn't right, we just approached people. If anything was noticeable, and pretty soon I didn't even do this. My dream team staff, whenever a new person came in that we were trying out, and that was rare because we had such a high retention rate, but whenever a new person came in, if within a short amount of time, if that person didn't fit the team kind of voted them off the island and kind of forced them out. After a while, I didn't have to fire anyone anymore, So it's definitely about the chemistry of the team, and it's got to be fun. Otherwise, it's not going to be that culture of hospitality.
Yeah, I'm just going to layer on 2 seconds worth of stuff there.
Yeah, please.
I would just add to people is if you're in a situation where you haven't had a meeting with your staff in a while, is kind of have that, that sit down, honest meeting where you're talking about a number of things, but say a sentence somewhere similar, like if this isn't fun for you, if this is not what you think are interested in doing, there's the door. There's other things for you to do in your life because you want people that are going to be there, that are going to be engaged and helping your customers and helping your business. And every once in a while, you need to tell people, listen, if this is not your thing, go do something else. Even if you're short-staffed and even if you're desperate to find people, like you can't have people that aren't into your business. So it's important to say it, and it's important to reinforce that message. And of course, it's the best place to do it is when you initially hire. Of course, that's when you want to make sure you nail the right person in the beginning. But now you touched on this one, and this one is a pet peeve of mine. Number 6: every table is your table. Servers just blow this left and right. So how do you talk to staff about this one?
Well, this is one of the most powerful concepts for any restaurant because, again, the guest experience is paramount in your restaurant. And how many times have you gone out to dinner, James? And I think anybody can relate to this, where you have a problem or an issue or a need and you want that taken care of immediately, and your server's in the kitchen, or she's in the back room, or maybe she's out back having a smoke, who knows? But it's like you're just waiting for, in most restaurants, that one server takes care of that table, and that was unacceptable in my restaurants. I trained every single person on the floor that every table is your table. notice. We talked about noticing and seeing what the guest sees immediately. This all plays into that. So let's just say you're assigned section A in the corner. You got 5 tables over there, and then someone at section C, needs another basket of bread, or their wine is empty, or they drop something on the floor and they need a new fork. I don't care what it is. It's like, we had an entire front of house team that were there to notice, and every single guest at every single table was everybody's responsibility. So there was never a guest in my restaurants that had a need that wasn't taken care of immediately. And let's just say you see something, if you don't have the time to take care of it because you're carrying 5 plates to another table. Our front of house team was choreographed. We had hosts, we had bussers, and we had servers, and it was all about communication, and everybody talked to everybody, and everybody knew what was going on. So it was very simple to talk to another front of house person and say, table 10 needs a new fork, needs a new basket of bread. And then somebody was on it immediately. And guests were amazed that something was noticed immediately, and that even though it wasn't their server, that person approached them with a smile and took care of their issue. It was unbelievable. That goes so far with customers. So every table is your table. Practice it. It'll just pay dividends in your restaurant.
Yeah, this is a big one, and it absolutely is. And when restaurants do this well, you're right, the customer is impressed and surprised. And the corollary is when the staff does not do this and you can only interact with your server. As a customer, there's times where they seem to disappear for 10
Always.
minutes,
I know.
even if it's like 2 minutes, and you're like, those are the critical minutes, whether it's something for your kid or a menu item, or you're just dying of thirst and like you need that refill, and all of a sudden like they're nowhere to be seen, and like all the other staff are walking by with their heads down, they won't make eye contact, they have no interest in helping you, and believe me, from the customer side, that is a frustrating experience. And it's not what you want your customer to feel. It's the sort of thing that makes the difference in, do I want to go back to that place? It's really that important. And the way Roger described, managing his team is absolutely how you want your staff to be on the floor. So take that one to heart. Think about it. Brainstorm around it. Get with your staff. Have that mentality in your restaurant. You'll absolutely be better for it. Number 7, be safety minded today. Important, right? We can't have people getting hurt and so forth. So how do you recommend a restaurant talk about this one?
Yeah, we talked about safety all the time as an entire team, and a lot of times you are in a rush situation. Maybe the prep people in the morning are rushing to, get the salads ready for the day, and they're chopping carrots or onions or whatever it is, and they're just feeling behind. It's like nothing is more important than taking your time and being safety conscious. And we really cut our insurance claims quite a bit just by regularly talking about safety. Don't rush, take your time. And if you notice a hazardous situation, and let's face it, restaurants can be dangerous environments, whether somebody just mopped the floor in the kitchen, slow down and just take care of hazards if you see them, and fix things immediately so that no one else gets hurt. So, it seems common sense, but a lot of restaurants don't talk about this on a regular basis. And I am a proponent in daily training, whether that's 3 minutes or a half an hour in a pre-shift, for every department in the restaurant. Just give people things to think about that are going to impact the guest experience, that are going to impact safety, and just run a more efficient, safer restaurant. So yeah, that one's pretty important.
Yeah, exactly. And if you are doing that regular training, you can take a couple minutes to talk about safety, for example, as an important topic, as well as all the other stuff we touched on. Now we're going to wrap up with number 8, and this is always a good way to wrap up by saying thank you. Say thank you to your folks for being part of your team. They want to hear it. People love to be recognized. So, what were some things you found successful in recognizing your team?
It all starts with leading by example, and I know you and I have talked about this quite a bit before. But, being a good, strong, effective manager or owner is really about being a part of that team, not just a figurehead that's in the back office. And I'm a big proponent of putting systems in place, but right from the get-go, I was right there on the floor, and I was just recognizing the staff for doing things great. I was thanking and appreciating all the customers. But I routinely walked around the restaurant every single shift. And even if I was there for just an hour and I went home to spend time with my family after the systems were in place, it didn't matter. I spent quality time just chit-chatting with my staff, asking them about their lives, noticing the great things they were doing, and just genuinely thanking them for being a part of our team. And, just fill in the blanks, whether you jumped in to help the dishwasher with a mountain of dishes or you helped a customer with an issue or a problem. It's like I always saw these things and I genuinely thanked people for doing it. And yeah, we talked about this earlier. Everyone is there for a paycheck, but I've found over the years that praise and genuine thank yous go so much farther to productivity, morale, and just longevity with your team. If you treat people like they're special, like they're valued members of your team, they're going to last longer in a high turnover business. They're going to stay with you longer. And that's all a key element of, like what we talked about, building your dream team. Recognition, praise, and thank yous go a long way.
They really do. They really do, Roger. And just if folks, it's a good reminder for everybody. We're all guilty of getting in our own way sometimes, but step out of your way and thank your team and be grateful and do it in a genuine way. It absolutely will pay dividends. And so I think, or I hope that we delivered a lot of value today in talking about 8 things you can say to your staff. If you were to take some notes on these 8 things, get with your team, sit down, talk about these things. You're absolutely going to be giving better service to your customers, and then that's going to relate to better sales, better return visits, and loyalty. And Roger, when he talks about service, it's his sweet spot, man. It's where he built his kind of roundhouse. When you talk about hitter, their wheelhouse, that's where he hits the home runs from. Talking about the service aspect, also covers all the other parts of the restaurant business in his consulting and his products. So really quickly, Roger, where can people find you on the web? What do you got going on out there?
Yeah, lots going on. I mean, I specialize in helping restaurants optimize their finances and their critical financial systems and maximize their profits. Like you said, service really built my business. So my flagship system is called Sales Stars, and that's all about, training your staff to notice, building your dream team staff, and then educating, informing, and entertaining your customer, which increases sales and builds affinity, like we talked about earlier. And then for those just starting a brand new restaurant, we have something called the Restaurant Rockstars Academy, which is kind of a soup to nuts virtual crash course in not only starting a restaurant, everything you need to know to start one, but also how to maximize your profits across the board. So yeah, we focus on that. I do some personal consulting as well. And I'm passionate, Jamie, like you are, about this business. And I just love talking to other restaurant owners and managers and helping them succeed. And they can always ask me a question. I'm happy to answer their emails. And that's just roger@restaurantrockstars.com, which is our website. And I know you always put, special links for them to, to get any special deals we're offering and that sort of thing as well, or just for more information in your show notes.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, I will do that. We'll put links to Roger's stuff up there. If you're a restaurant operator that is looking for kind of some tips and some ideas, Roger's stuff is absolutely a great resource for you, and you should check out what he has to offer. If you're a new restaurant and you have a whole bunch of questions, you absolutely want to get into his stuff so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. He has done it and done it for 20 years and has all the systems ready for you to go so you can rock your restaurant. So, Roger, as always, I appreciate you sharing your tips and wisdom with us. Thank you so much, sir.
Oh, thanks for having me on the show, Jim. I always enjoy working with you.
Awesome. Well, enjoy the rest of the day, everybody. So forth. This has been Jamie Oikle from runningrestaurants.com, along with Roger Bodwin from restaurantrockstars.com. Thank you so much for listening, and all the best for your restaurant business.
Today's episode is really a system in itself. It's about leading by example, sharing your knowledge and vision for your operation, and finding time to train your staff daily. If only for 5 minutes in a pre-shift, this time spent will pay repeat dividends. Now go out there and rock your restaurant.
Thanks for listening to the Restaurant Rockstars podcast. For lots of great resources, head over to restaurantrockstars.com. And while you're there, download a copy of the book, Rock Your Restaurant. It's a game changer. See you next time.